Friends, welcome back. My name is Jason, and last year about this time, I customized 15 Tramontina machetes, just like this one right here. And since then, I have been using and abusing this tool right here, and it has really served me well. It's got the job done, and 15 other individuals out there are the proud owners of an On3 customized Tramontina machete. I put a convex edge on it. I put a 90-degree spine on the back for scraping tenders, for scraping ferro rods. Put some custom wrapping on there so you could choke up onto the machete and get a little bit closer to the center of gravity of the blade so you can do some more refined, delicate chopping. I've rounded, I've smoothed, I have made this handle much more comfortable to use so it doesn't give you any blisters. I've soaked it in boiled linseed oil so it doesn't get affected by the water and moisture and humidity in the air so much. What else? I put a really nice forced patina on there using mustard, which works really good, and I think it looks super cool. And this machete has really got the job done. And I also made a PVC sheath right here that works quite well. The water drains out. It's got good retention right there. Dangles pretty good from a belt. But it is a large blade. It's an 18-inch long blade. And so what I've decided to do this time is to buy 20 12-inch machetes right there. 20 12-inch Tramontinas. You can buy a Tramontina machete like this one off the shelf for probably, or off Amazon or whatever, for probably 15, 20 bucks, something like that. But they come pretty crude and rough. I mean, there's a lot of extra material on the handle here. I'm not sure if you can see that, where, you know, that's potentially going to give you a blister after a day of using it. I mean, eventually you'll kind of wear that wood down and it'll probably be fine. The edge is not sharp out of the box. Look, I mean, it's not cutting me. It's not cutting me. It's not sharp. Like, it's not going to do the job that efficiently unless you do a little bit of extra work to it. The back of the spine is not really a sharp 90-degree spine, so you're not going to be able to scrape a ferro rod and that kind of stuff with it if that was what you wanted to do with it. It won't scrape barks and make tinder quite as efficiently. And it comes with this, I hate them. It's like this poly coating, painted coating on the blade, this plastic coating that comes on there to keep it from rusting. And I get why they do that. It's just not my personal preference, so I like to get rid of that. And the handle is pretty untreated. I mean, it's a raw wood rough handle, and it's just not my style, so I like to customize them, and I think a lot of you out there appreciate that as well. And a subscriber, Shannon, makes these amazing machete sheaths that I think I'm going to be going with. They are made out of old fire hose, and I think they are super awesome. So I think this fire hose sheath right here is just a really elegant, really simple, perfect solution for a machete sheath. So eventually all 20 of these machetes are going to look like this one right here. For the most part, it's going to have my custom signature 3 on there, engraved in it, burned into the boiled linseed soaked handle. I've rounded it. I've made it very comfy, very smooth, refined, finished. I mean, it's definitely got a better feel to it now, for sure. It's got a 90-degree spine on that on the back there, all the way the full length of it, so you could scrape a ferro rod. What I like to do is I put the tip onto a stump or something like that. I secure it in place, and then I scrape the ferro rod this way, and that works quite well. I've convexed the edge. It's a razor. It's a scalpel. It's a 12-inch long scalpel, and I've sharpened all the way to the handle on this one, right? So you can choke up on it and get really, really close to that cutting edge. And I put a sharpening choil right there, so it makes it just a little bit easier to sharpen, and you're not dealing with kind of that ramped edge right there. That part's kind of tough to sharpen unless you've got a choil right there. So that's a little bit of extra touch right there that I think you guys would appreciate. I didn't wrap it like this one. You know, I put that wrap on there for the paracord so you can choke up on it. But since this is such a small machete and you're already pretty close to the center of the machete, there's not really much need for that. So I just went ahead and sharpened it all the way to the end. And the tips of these machetes are really dull. And that's fine for the longer bladed machetes. I don't even bother sharpening the tip because it's kind of a sacrificial thing. I mean, you're chopping down here close to the ground. you're gonna be hitting rocks and stuff. It's inevitable that you're gonna hit a rock when you're chopping down close to the ground, and there's really not much point in sharpening the tip of that machete, and that's why they don't come sharp. They come very dull. I mean, it's extremely blunt edge. But on this one, I think since it's a much shorter blade, you may not be chopping so close to the ground. You know, it's more of a crafting type machete, and I sharpened the edge all the way to the handle, and I sharpened the tip as well. So we can use that for crafting and carving and that kind of work. So let's get started. I've got a lot of work to do. I've got 20 of these babies to work on to make them all look kind of like that one. And I've got to get to work. Now I'm going to be using some power tools, you know, some grinders and whatnot, power sanders. But you could do this all by hand if you wanted to. It'd just take a lot longer, a little bit longer, more tedious process. But since I'm going to be doing 20 of them, I'll probably cheat a little bit and use the power sanders. Squirt a little goo gun on there, get that crap off of there. Oh yeah. Step one, we're gonna clean up this handle, clean up those rough edges, get rid of that extra material, and put a 90-degree spine on the blade. Now, you do have to be careful on this during this process, which I do encourage you to do this. If you want to buy one of these cheap machetes, the Tramontina machetes, which are awesome, and customize these things yourselves, fantastic. But when you're using a grinder like this, a power sander like this, you can potentially get the metal so hot that it will lose its temper, and we don't want to do that. So we got to go nice and slow, easy, and in some portions of this process, I'm going to be dipping it in water to make sure that it doesn't get hot. Warm is okay, but I don't want it getting hot at all. All right, I think we've got it down to the bare metal now. I hit it with the little hand sander over there too to get the nooks and crannies that were a little bit tough to get. And now we're just going to take care of this handle with a little bit of the finishing touches. We removed all of the rough edges with the power sander there. Now we're just gonna hand sand this thing with, I think this is 120, yeah. 120, and that's what we're gonna finish it with too, because it doesn't need to be smooth. We don't really want it to be like a shiny finish or anything like that. We just want it to be rounded and nice and no rough edges or anything. It's nice that the blade's not sharp yet. Just hold on to it. So a couple minutes of that right there, and we should be ready to rock to move on to the next step. You know, in a world of AI, everything seems artificial these days. You don't know what's real. You don't know what you can trust. Did that person that you're watching on the video actually say that, or was it an AI generated image? It's all fake and lies these days. I think people, me being one of those people, can appreciate a handmade thing, like something genuine that a person actually had a hand in making, with all these prefabricated, industrial made assembly line robot produced things in the world. Something like this, you know, I appreciate, you know, having a handmade custom touch to something, you know, something genuine, something real, I think has a lot of value. And I think you guys probably get that. I think there's going to be a strong, like a craving, a strong craving for what's real and what's genuine, as opposed to all of the AI fake, you know, artificial fluff that's out there. There's so much of it now. It's just like, it's crazy. I don't know. I hate it. Like if I click on a YouTube video or something and I can tell that it's fake, you know, it's AI generated, I immediately click off of it. I don't know. Just me, I guess. I've been using AI a little bit in some of my videos for like images, like thumbnail images and stuff like that. It is really helpful. I mean, I get the time-saving capabilities of it. I can appreciate what it does for you. But still, where's the line? Where do we draw the line? What's too much? I don't know. All right, now for the tricky part. We're going to work on this edge. We're going to try to push that edge, that unsharpened bit, all the way back closer to the handle. I could put the sharpening choil on first, which would probably be a good idea. Let's actually do that. I'm going to put that sharpening choil on there. We're going to use our bench vise, which is very handy. Just occasionally dipping it in some water, keeping it cool. I've got most of that ground down now, and now I'm just going to be convexing the edge. And if you're not familiar with what that means, the blade comes ground kind of like this. It's kind of like a Scandi grind, just a flat sides like this. But what I'm doing is I'm rounding the edges just a little bit, and what that does is it makes the edge just a bit more durable, and I think significantly easier to sharpen, especially if you're doing it like me and you're just doing it by hand. You don't have the right machines and stuff like that to get a very precise, perfect angle on your grind. It's going to have a little bit of a rounded shape to it, and I actually prefer that because it's easier to sharpen and because it holds the edge just a little bit longer. And on a rough and tough machete like this, something you're going to be using and abusing, I appreciate a convex edge. All right, there we have it. That turned out really nice. And that's pretty freaking sharp as is, but we can get it a little bit sharper, I think. Now we'll just take a whetstone like this one, dip it in the water, and we'll give it a nice finishing touch on that edge to make it really sharp. If you do buy one of these, be careful. It will be sharp, and it will slice you if you are reckless with it. I wet the stone to create a slurry, to keep the stone from getting filled with metal shavings, little metal particles and particles of the stone. And if you let that happen, the stone will eventually stop working. So it creates this kind of slurry effect right there. And I just keep dipping it in my water to make sure that it keeps sharpening for me and doesn't get filled up. And machetes don't have to be razor sharp. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're planning on doing with them. Just a crude edge would work, you know, if you're just chopping weeds and stuff like that. Probably be fine, but, you know, if you got the time and you want to make the thing really sharp, you know, so it'll just like hot knife through butter, then I'd recommend it. And this steel that they make these machetes out of is really easy to sharpen. Like I said, kind of just out of with a rock out of the creek, which I do a lot of the time. Yo, that blade is looking good. Typically what I'll do is I just scrape it across my thumbnail like that. And if it's tacky, if it scrapes the top layer of my thumbnail off the entire length of the blade, then I know it's good to go. You could also do the hair shaving technique right there, and you can see, hopefully you could see the hair popping off my arm because that thing is really sharp. Now we gotta be careful with it. That thing is real sharp. I can't just be holding on to the blade like that anymore. So now I'm gonna force a patina. Another way of just saying, you know, make it look rusty and old. I'm gonna force a patina with some yellow mustard because it's got salt and vinegar in the mustard. It's going to kind of force a quick little rustiness onto the blade. And when I do this with my finger, it gives it this really cool kind of like tiger stripe swirl pattern, which I think is neat. And we just let that sit on there for about 10, 20 minutes, and then we'll do the other side. Let's see what the result is. This has been about 20 minutes, I'd say, give or take. I think that looks pretty dang cool, and that's gonna continue to kind of patina some of these like shinier spots. That'll get a little bit more dull because I'm not gonna clean it off completely until it's, you know, good and settled in there. And then after that, I'll put a little bit of oil on there, and that'll stop that process. I'll clean it off really good, and then I'll put some oil on there, and that'll stop the process. But right now, while that's continuing to do its thing, I'm going to oil the handle, get that cleaned up a little bit more, and put some boiled linseed oil on that handle. What I like to do is take my boiled linseed oil and put it in a jar. That way I can soak the entire handle in the oil, just like that. I fully submerge it into the oil, and then I'm just gonna let it sit there like that for probably 5 minutes or so. And that's soaking in that oil all into the pores of that wood. All into the pores of that wood, impregnating all of the cells of the wood, and that'll help preserve it and keep it from soaking in any water in the future when you're using it in wet, swampy conditions like we have here in Georgia. All right, let's pull it out of the oil, let the excess drip off, and then we'll wipe it down. We should be good to go. Finishing up this one machete here, and I'm about to start on the next 19. But in the comment section, let me know what your one tool would be, guys. If you could pick one tool, you know, dropped off in the middle of nowhere, no idea where you're gonna be, what would be your one choice? For me, a tool, it'd be a machete right here for sure, because you can just do so much with them. They're very efficient, they're lightweight, easy to use all day long without getting wore out. And just a simple Tramontina like this one right here that didn't cost you much money is gonna be probably my choice right there. And a lot of people would choose an axe. You know, I guess it depends. Some people are gonna say it depends. You know, where am I? Am I in the far north where I'm gonna be chopping, splitting firewood and all that kind of stuff? Maybe not. If you didn't know, that's the question. That's the challenge. If you didn't know where you're gonna be dropped off, you didn't know what time of year it was gonna be, sometime this year, right? I'm gonna kidnap you, and I'm gonna drop you off in the middle of nowhere. What tool would you choose? This would be my choice. Or maybe the 18-incher. I don't know. The 12-incher or the 18-incher, I'm not sure. That'd be a tough choice. This one's nice because it's so dang light and portable. I mean, really lightweight tool. Man, I don't know. We'll see. Have to think about that one. There is pretty much the finished product. I have not oiled the blade yet, but the handle is finished. It is smooth. It is oiled up. The blade is razor sharp, the full length of it all the way to the tip. I even made sure that it had a nice point on it for any kind of gouging that you might want to do, piercing perhaps. But that, my friends, is an amazing tool right there. Is it the ultimate survival tool? Maybe. I don't know. If I was dropped off in the middle of absolute nowhere and you said, hey, Jason, you can only have one thing, one tool, this would be a good choice. It really, really would. I mean, you could do a lot of stuff with a tool like this, with a blade like this. Everything from chopping to slicing to cleaning fish, gutting animals, making shelters. All the things can be done with a really, really awesome, robust tool like this one right here that you can do yourself. I mean, you can buy the things fairly inexpensive, like I said, 15, 20 bucks. You can customize them as much as you like or as little as you like. Just use them out of the box if you want, if that's your style. Or you can go to goon3.com and you can buy one of these highly customized On3 machetes from me and help support the channel and my family and all the things that we like to do. So, like eat, those kind of things. So I really do appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very, very much. I'm grateful for all the views and all the thumbs up and the subscriptions and all that stuff. Link to my website will be in the comment section. Ooh, it's about to storm. It's coming. It's coming. Link will be in the comment section, and it'll also be in the video description, but it is GoOn3. So GOON3.com, and that will take you to these machetes where you could buy one if you'd like. So thank you very much, guys. Until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on 3.